I'd now like to recognize the gentleman from Colorado for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief Moore, last year I asked you questions regarding wildfire, specifically on thinning and fuels management. You concurred that healthy forests should have between 50 to 80 trees per acre, as opposed to 250 to 300 that national forests near my district have. As I said last time, in the fall of 2020, Colorado saw the two largest wildfires in state history, the Cameron Peak Fire and the East Troublesome Fire. Most of these happened on federal land. Despite robust funding, fuel material continues to pile up on federal lands. In fact, the fiscal year 25 presidential budget request asked for more money while targeting 200,000 less acres than last year. Has there been any change since we spoke on the Forest Service's position on tree thinning and fuels management?
Yeah, we're constantly looking at fuels management, and in Colorado, particularly along the Front Range, that's one of our priority landscapes. And so we have ramped up treatments in the Front Range landscapes. And so we're making actually a lot of progress there, Congressman, in terms of what we're able to do in terms of treatments on those landscapes.
Okay, very good. Also, the last time that you were in front of this committee, you resisted the Forest Service using fuel-related categorical exclusions. And that is why I introduced the Locally Led Restoration Act to provide flexibility in stewardship contracts while focusing on wildlife mitigation through fuel removal. So my question is, you mentioned collaborating with community leaders. Please share what conversations, if any, you have had regarding stewardship and timber contracts with industry.
Yeah, so we've had a number of memorandum of understandings and agreements with some of the industry folks. One of the latest ones we've had was with NAFO, National Association of Forest Owners. And two of the contracts there had to do with, one is that for the timber owners or the land owners, we have agreed to allow them to jump on a fire if it's in their area during an initial attack. So that's been in place for a year now, and we went back and did an after-action review this past winter to look to see if there was any value to that. And we found out with the timber and forest owners that there was value. In fact, we saw a couple of fires that they were able to get to that could have grown into larger fires. The other piece other agreement that we have with the industry is to look at opportunities after a fire for reforestation. And so we entered into an agreement actually with Sierra Forest Industries. And in that agreement, they have reforested some of the National Forest managed land as they were doing theirs. And I think we had about 120 acres this past year on that. And so we're looking at a lot of different opportunities that partner with industry and other community leaders to look at bringing them into the decision space on what we do out there.
Okay, that's good to see that progress being made. What this bill would do, I just mentioned, is instead of all or nothing contracts, it lets there be a counteroffer, which is prevalent in the private sector, but for some reason doesn't exist with Forest Service. So I would love to see that legislation go forward, give you that authorization as another tool in the toolkit and another way for industry to be relevant in this space. I've also proposed using private sectors in the whatever areas I can in all kinds of government service areas. There's a shortage of lumber and wood products during the pandemic, for instance, yet timber harvests have dropped since the early 90s and wildfires have continued to skyrocket. The U.S. produced 112 million board feet in '87, but in 2022, less than 5 million board feet. So production has gone down while wildfires have gone up. You mentioned the problems with litigation. Are there other things that could be done to restore some balance here? You know, no one's talking about clear-cutting millions of acres, but having some kind of balance with American jobs and products so we don't have to import so much from other countries.
Yeah, Congressman, I've committed earlier with Chairman Tiffany to really take a look at our data, because the information that you just shared, I have different information that says the opposite. And I think, you can sometimes have a seesaw effect from year to year about what timber is. But my data is telling me that we've seen slight increases over the last 20 years, actually to the tune of about 30%. And so I would like to be able to sit down, and I've agreed already to sit down with committee members here to go into a bit more detail on sharing that information.
Okay, thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yield.